Hello, this is Anders Limpar on Bergkamp Wonderland.
Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland. I'm Gimli and tonight I'll be joined by, first up, he's a Bergkamp Wonderland's producer, an all-round nice fella, it's Danny the GFP. Hello Danny.
Ahoy hoy chipmunk.
I meant all-round in a nice way, not all around as in fat.
You meant fat.
No, I didn't.
I'm not fat.
No, I didn't mean fat at all,
No,
but we should move on.
You did mean fat.
Next up, it's ABW's very own man of the cloth, it's Raj Patel. Hello Raj.
You sound more and more like Anthony Hopkins every day.
It's a bit before my time. I'm only 29.
He's Welsh.
Yeah, he is Welsh, though, isn't he? So.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm going to be the next... I'm not too bad. I'm just auditioning to be the next James Bond. The Welsh version.
I'm very
Jones
excited
the
about
Bond.
this one, actually. I'm looking forward to this one tonight.
It should be a very, very good podcast.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Next up, my personal hero for this week, and still the Don Daddy for all of time. It's Geoff Arsenal. Hello, Geoff.
How you doing, Gim?
We had a bit of a situation on Friday, didn't we?
We did have a situation on Friday, mate. Everyone's all right, are they?
Yeah, all of our pups are absolutely superb. I've named one Little G in honour of you, so for the next 8 weeks.
Superb. Boys or girls? What did you have in the end?
We had, in the end, 4 boys and 3 girls.
Ah, superb. Fantastic.
Little Dom. How's little Dom?
Little Dom, I'm pleased to say that little Dom has worked his way into our hearts, the little yellow one, even though she's a girl.
All on the bed yet, Gim, or not?
No, not yet. They're still with Mummy.
He's gone.
Downstairs at the moment. They're probably a little bit too whiny. Is it gone?
No, you're there.
Oh.
You went a little bit quiet. Go on.
Oh, good. Well, but no, they're all still a little bit too whiny at the moment to even consider having them anywhere near where I sleep. So, yes. We'll move on then. Next up, making his debut on the show and long-time listener to our rambling, it's Matt Holmes. Hello, Matt.
Hi, Gim. How are you?
I'm not too bad. So, how long have you listened to our insane ramblings?
Oh, it's got to be getting on 1.5 years now.
Oh, commiserations. And he's from the
been
village,
a
just down
while.
from mine, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Magical
Yeah, not far from
Hilton.
you.
The stink of
Hilton.
meat 24 hours a day.
Yeah, it's alright. It's a bit small, but in the middle of nowhere.
It sounds like somewhere Danny would frequent, definitely.
Oh, he knows the pecking order. Got Manchester
Danny
is
would suit in
top.
fine.
He's probably seen me hurling around in the murk, waving to people to get out my way.
Not hard to miss.
Probably has, actually. And finally, tonight's guest has played over 399 games, scoring 66 goals. In that time, he's had stints at Cremonese, Arsenal and Everton. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Anders Limpar. Hello, Anders.
Hello, it sounds... can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, hi.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. We were going to have you on about a month ago when we had Jimmy Carter and Dave Hillier on the show.
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen for some reason or another. But it's such an honour to actually have you on tonight.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
No, thank you. We'll start tonight's show slightly differently, as we have Anders with us for a short amount of time. So is it okay to start asking you some questions, Anders?
Yeah, of course, shoot.
Fantastic. My first one is, in your time at Arsenal, who was your favourite player at the club?
I always liked Lee Dixon because he helped me so much when I arrived at the club. So Lee Dixon is one of my heroes. You know, he actually helped me to find my house. He almost the first week I was invited to his house for a dinner, and he took care of me like no one else. So all credit to Lee.
You know, that's brilliant. You'd be surprised how many ex-Arsenal players we've had on that played in the side around the Lee Dixon years, and how many said just how much of a nice guy he was.
Yeah, he is a proper gentleman, if you can say, and he still is. I mean, all credit to Lee. He was absolutely outstanding for me. He helped me to settle in the Arsenal way to play, and he's top class.
And do you still look out for the Arsenal results?
Yeah, I do actually. I've been pretty much seen all the games up till the last game. I saw actually the first goal, and then I couldn't watch it anymore against City. So I can't actually speak so much about the City game. But obviously I saw the result that we won 2-0, but I didn't see the game, unfortunately.
I was going to say, I think you missed out then because that was probably the one game of the season we've
Yeah.
actually excelled.
Yeah, so I heard. I mean, can we beat City? We can have a good run and beat everybody. So probably this is a good start actually for the rest of the season.
You definitely think so. Hopefully they get their tails up after that game and they can build on that and maybe go on a little bit of a run.
Yeah.
Just another question. After watching Arsenal, who's your current favourite Arsenal player?
Obviously, what's his name now? I lost his name from Spain, from
Santi
Barcelona.
Cazorla?
Yeah, no, from Barcelona.
Sanchez.
Alexis Sanchez.
Alexis Sanchez. I mean, he's so clever. He's so good, and I like when he's taking on the people on, and he's skillful and his passing of the game. I mean, he's different class for Arsenal nowadays, and then he's producing, he's scoring, he's assisting. He probably is one of the best signing for many years. So I can see he's a big prospect for the club.
Oh, definitely so. And what was your fondest memory in an Arsenal shirt?
Wow, obviously to beat Spurs is always nice to say, but I mean when we actually I can't actually remember. I only lost one game against Tottenham, and that was in the semi-final in the FA Cup, and I can't remember if I lost any other games. I probably just draw or won the game. So I have to say when we beat Tottenham 3-1 at Highbury, I think it was 92 or something, and we actually trashed them. So that's always nice to beat the Spurs.
Oh, definitely so. But we don't need to talk about the loss. There's no place for that here on this show. But I'm
No
sure
problem.
Danny could probably bring it up on Wiki, couldn't you, Danny, the king of our stats?
Well, yeah, if it was 1992, then that's going to be... I'm just looking through them now. Oh, there's not many times they did beat us. So, no, I can't find it.
I can actually remember one game we beat them 3-1. I come on as a sub, and I think we beat them 3-1. Must have been 92, 93 something. They were really good, but we were so much better.
Oh, and it's always been the case ever since, and probably for most of time beforehand. Another question. In your 4 years at Arsenal, is there anything you regret in that time?
Yeah, I actually regret a lot. Actually, I was too soft against the manager. I mean, I sat down and took all the shit apparently, and I should have been more tough against Graham and actually spoke out. And I was so quiet at that time, rather than standing up for myself and telling them that he's doing wrong or something. So. I have to say that I was too soft as a person. If I can take something back, I had to stand up for myself much more in that dressing room. Because at that, I mean, you should never ever talk bad about the person. But he took the piss at last year at Highbury '94. I mean, I played probably 7 games from start, and there was no reason for it, and I should have stand up for myself a little bit more. I was too soft.
Why do you think that was now in hindsight, Anders? Why do you think you only played that seven games?
Yeah, I can't actually put the finger on it, because he turned and he got more and more defensive over the years, and then there was no place for me actually. He played players before me who could actually defend, and then we had the Ian Wright to rely on. And at the end of the 93-94 season, we had like 8 defenders on the pitch, and then 2 attacking players, and Ian Wright was one of them. And it actually was no place for me. So I can't actually put a finger on why he changed his system, because we did great over the years, and I did great over the years for him. And I was too soft, honestly. I should have stand up for myself much more. And even when I wanted to sign another 4 years for Arsenal, he said no, because I can't guarantee you a place in the side anymore. And I said, yeah, no problem for me. I can fight myself back in the team. But he just said no. I have to sell you. And I asked him why they have to sell me, because you can't defend. And that was like a proper excuse. Wasn't a proper excuse in my ear. So I have to say, I was a soft little shit, really.
Yeah, you know, if I can take you back to the start, I think you signed in 1990, didn't you?
Yeah, true.
Was your first league game against Wimbledon?
Yeah, we won 3-0 away at
I
Plough
remember.
Lane.
Yeah. I mean, that was a bit of a rude awakening, wasn't it?
Yeah, true. It's like 7 people could chase in that dressing room, and then you have to wait, and then another 7 could go in and change. So that was an experience.
Yeah, the crazy gang. I bet it was. I remember that game as it happens.
Yeah.
But we played them off the park. They was trying to bully us, but you did play them off the park, and they just got battered, didn't they?
That was a good start for me, actually, in that game to settle in.
You actually only lost one of your first 28 games for Arsenal. Man United beat 6-2 in the League Cup, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah, true. I think Lee Sharp scored the hat-trick in that game, and we were outplayed, actually.
Yeah.
And amazing, really. It was 3-2 in half time, and then they just trashed us in the second half.
But that 1990-91 team, that was a fantastic team. There's a lot of guys, a lot of supporters now. They talk about that team even more, or they say it was better than the Invincibles team.
I will put it in this way. I mean, the football has changed so much over the years. We were probably the most powerful team Arsenal ever had in history. We had such a great power up front. It was unreal. And it was more straight football at that time. I mean, you can play back to David Seaman. He could pick the ball up and then flashed it up the field. But with the Invincible, they played really, really good football because they could do it with Wenger. But we weren't allowed to play football. We actually played like the strongest game of football. So I'm not sure if we were better or not, but we were definitely stronger.
Yeah, sorry, Gim. That particular team. I mean, I've said it before. You used to go 1-0 up against teams, and all of a sudden, I mean, the teams used to more or less give up because we had such a strong defence, didn't they, at the time?
Yeah. I mean, we were ahead of our times, actually. They put me on the left wing, and everywhere I looked, I had an international player. It was like a self-playing piano at that time, so I had to do my stuff, and it was like we already were 2-0 up before the game because everybody who came to Highbury, they were shitting themselves. So it was quite easy for us to play at Highbury, and we were as equal good away from Highbury as well. So we were such a powerful team, and then when Ian Wright joined us 91, we were an awesome team.
And just going back briefly to George Graham, I understand Raj has a question.
Hi, and this is Raj here.
Hi, Raj.
Hi there. You had an interview a couple of years ago, you might not remember this, with Marcus Christensen, and you came out with a classic line. You said playing for George Graham was like living in Iraq. I mean, was it really that bad? I mean, I know it was around the time when you were hoping...
I can't say that he wasn't bad. He was a good manager, but he didn't listen to the players. Graham was Arsenal at that time. That's what he thought. And then if he should have listened to the players a little bit more, we probably never lost the game. And I have to say that he was a good manager, but he was too hard or even cruel sometimes.
What seemed to me was that you were unhappy with the way he was just selling players without really giving them that information beforehand, and it kind of happened to you as well, didn't it?
True, because I played for Arsenal 4 years, and I can't remember sitting in a halftime that he had something good to say about the systems or the opponents or everything. He just stood there and yelled because he wanted to have a reaction, so we couldn't be laid back, if you can say. So everybody was shitting themselves how can I say? He was like managing by fear, honestly, at that time. And I mean, all the English players, they were really tough mentally wise, and I wasn't the toughest guy mentally wise, and he probably could have used me much better if he talked to me and then was a little bit softer to me.
Have you come across him since then, or have you kind of
I met him. Yeah, I met him a couple of times after that, but we never ever spoke about my time at Arsenal. I would love to do it. Just sit down an hour with him and ask him some question why he did things. Took me off every 5 minutes from the end, or every time I scored in one game, I was on the bench the next game, and it's just cruel stuff he just put over me, and then. It's not for me to sit here and complain, but all I have to say that he should have been more, a little bit softer to me, not the English hard way,
Yeah. And in 1994, you left Arsenal to go to Everton. I mean, is there anything you missed about Arsenal after you moved?
The thing is, the proper story was that me and my agent went up to Mr. Graham and asked to sign another 4 years, and he just said that I can't guarantee you a place in the side anymore. And I said, fair enough, I will fight my way back. And I wanted to stay, but he said, I have a too gooder offer from Manchester City. And so I went up to Manchester City. On my way up to Manchester, Everton phoned my agent up, and I went on to sign for Everton, and that's a long story. But I never want to leave Arsenal. I mean, you were stupid if you wanted to leave Arsenal at that time. So I really regret that I was too soft at that time.
Mm. And Matt, I understand you've got a question.
Yeah, so you left in '94 and Wenger came in '96. Do you think if Wenger had come in whilst you were still at Arsenal, you'd have had a much better career at Arsenal, or a longer career even? Not better, but longer career?
The thing is, I probably would have stayed at Arsenal for my whole career, because Wenger came in '98. If you look in my playing style, it would have been much better with that kind of play with the Invincible. But I can't complain. I played really good for Arsenal under Geoff Graham, but he didn't want me there. That's as simple as that. And then it's a shame. It's a shame. It's like a knife in my heart, because I was so successful at Arsenal and I want to stay. I didn't want to leave, but it wasn't meant to be with him.
We probably wouldn't have.
That's a hell of a signing, so I can't complain with that. That Arsenal got him, and he's fucking unbelievable.
Because you left Arsenal in '94, and we only signed Overmars in '97, so that's a couple of years.
Oh, really?
Got a couple of questions that people might not know. You signed for Swiss team Young Boys in 1988. Did you go there just because Tord Grip was manager?
Yeah, you can say that. He wanted me there, so he bought me. So I knew him from the Swedish national side. He was the assistant coach there. So you can say that he brought me to the club. Yeah.
Did you enjoy your time in Switzerland? Because you played 27 league goals and scored 27 games with 7 goals. So you did quite well, and then you went off to Cremonese in Italy.
Yeah, it was a good start for me actually in my playing career as a professional to go to a lower league. So that was a good education for me. The Swiss league was pretty much a good league to play in at that time. So it was really good that I started off on a good way in Switzerland.
Another thing, looking through your career, you played for Everton, and my mate Dean is a massive Everton fan, and I took him to the Arsenal's Champions League final in 2006.
Yeah.
And you're one of Dean's favourite players of all time for Everton, and he said that he'd love to have come and said hello to you, but I told him no.
No.
So then you went on to play for Birmingham for a little while, and then you went back to Sweden to play for AIK Stockholm. After that, you went to play in MLS for Colorado Rapids, who is owned by the Stan Kroenke. Was he the owner of the Colorado Rapids then, and did you get to meet him?
He wasn't the owner at the Colorado at that time. I played there in 99-2000, and it was another owner. But so I never met Kroenke, but that's a really good club. And then I wanted to cash in my last year, so I went to MLS. It was a good league to play in, but not even close to the Premier League. But I was like 38, 39 years old, and that was my last 2 years in my career.
You got a question, Raj?
No, it's the same question basically that I've asked every player that's come onto this podcast. We're all Arsenal supporters, as you know, and we always dream about playing for the Arsenal, although we'll never get that chance. So the question is, what was it like playing for the Arsenal?
It was like you can say when we played at Highbury. What can you say? At that time, Arsenal was one of the best clubs in whole England, and obviously I was honored to play for Arsenal. And if you can talk about the feelings, it was a nice feeling because we were 2-0 up before the game, so they were shitting themselves when they come to Highbury, and that's a nice feeling. And to play on over 100 games for Arsenal, I'm actually blessed. What more can I say? It was a nice feeling to be like a proper Arsenal player and winning all the things.
And I know Geoff's here. Geoff wants to ask you some questions about the trophies that you won at Arsenal, don't you, Geoff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that 1990-91 season must have been an incredible experience for you because you just arrived. We spoke about the first game at Wimbledon, which was a bit of a rude awakening, but then we went on this fantastic run, and that particular season we only got beat one game away at Chelsea.
With a dodgy penalty.
Yeah, I mean, and we should have run the double that year, having things right. We should have won the double. So Tottenham beat us in the semi, and that Chelsea game. I mean, what was it like in during that time? Did you think that's what it was like every year, or
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I mean, we were so good. All the players were like fitting into the system so well. Even from the back four to like working horse in Mickey Thomas and Paul Merson on the wing, me on the wing. We had Alan Smith up front and Kevin Campbell scoring all the goals. So we were a solid, rock solid team actually. We didn't have any weaknesses in that team, and we were powerful. That's the word for that era. We were so powerful.
Yeah, very true. I mean, and the semi-final, the Tottenham game, that must have been terribly disappointing.
Yeah, of course, that was the dip of the year actually. But let's face it, I mean, Paul Gascoigne, he was outstanding in that game, and to lose one game it's not the end of the world, but to lose it against Spurs, that's I mean, for the really proper Arsenal through and through, like Tony Adams and Lee Dixon and Paul Merson, they were out for weeks after that game. So, I mean, but all credit to them, if you can say, they really played good in that game.
Yeah, last two games of the league season, Manchester United at home, we beat them 3-1.
Yeah.
Alan Smith got a hat-trick.
Yeah.
The last league game of the season, can you remember that one?
Yeah, of course. How can I not remember it? I mean, it's got my first and only hat-trick in my career, and to trash like a proper team like Coventry, it's always nice. I mean, I think it was 6-1. And it was easy to play in that game because we have already won. It was easy to play against United at home because we have already won. But to score 9 goals in 2 games like that is just incredible. We're really powerful.
Fantastic season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, one of the best, obviously.
And Matt, is there anything you wanted to ask Anders?
Yeah, I was going to say. So, what would you say were the main differences between the team now and then?
Yeah, because
you played.
So
you played before my time, so I didn't see you live.
Yeah.
I mean, highlights.
If I can explain it like this, Graham didn't want us to play football. He wanted us to be powerful, get the ball as quick as he could up to the 4 front guys, and be threatenable. We have to threaten all the team all the time. If you can say, he wanted us to be powerful and not
now.
I mean, we hardly didn't play in the midfield, so we put the ball up front and we were powerful. Nowadays, they're building up the football much better. But I have to say that they're probably not as powerful as we were, even though they're really good football players. So it's really hard to to speak about two eras of football, and I mean, really hope that Arsenal are successful with this kind of play, because it's really nice to watch, especially at the Emirates, but probably not as much away from the Emirates. But we were powerful wherever we played, and that's the difference. But we didn't play football as good as they are now.
I think you would have definitely been well suited to today's teams, though.
Yeah,
Anders.
probably. Yeah, because I'm probably as Alexis Sanchez in one way, you know, scoring goals and producing goals and have like a free spot on the wing. I would probably have been suiting pretty well in this team. Yeah.
Anders, are you ever amazed at just how loved you are by Arsenal fans? How, even though it was such a long time ago.
I'm not amazed. I'm blessed. I'm really blessed. I mean, it's easy to me to say, but I am. I mean, it's very few play from abroad playing for a club like that,
Especially in those days.
Especially in those days when we were like 10 foreigners in the whole league. Of course, I'm blessed, you know, and to win things for Arsenal. I mean, what can I say?
Kim?
And I was just going to say, Anders, after hanging up your boots, you went into management. You are an assistant manager at the moment, aren't you? What side do you enjoy more, the playing side or the managerial side of the game?
You can put it in this way. I mean, to play and win trophies for a big club like Arsenal is satisfying. Obviously, that's what you're training for and aiming for. But I'm a manager for a League Two side in Sweden. We're trying to get up to the championship in Sweden, and we have so many young guys, like they're 17 to 20, to actually teach them to play football. And if they go through to play in our Premier League, that's a blessing, you know, to tell them what to do, to train them, and that's a big satisfaction for me actually to actually train a player who can getting on to the first Premier League, if you can say, if you know what I mean. It's a big satisfaction.
Do you have any? It's very difficult for you to say no, but I mean, do you think you've got one or two of the young boys that can come through and make it to that standard, and maybe to the standard of the British League?
Not in our team, actually. No. I trained a couple of guys in the past who plays in the Serie A in Italy nowadays. I'm playing for the Swedish national side. So I've actually trained 3 of them who made it the whole way. But now when I'm at the lower level, it's probably 1 or 2 who can actually made it to our Premier League in Sweden, but not more.
Is it? Are they fully professional, Anders? Your team, or semi-professional?
No, not even semi. We're amateurs. You know, they work and studying from 9 to 5, and then we train in the evening. So they don't even get paid for it.
It's the 4th division of Swedish football, the northern section. Exactly.
It's like we have so many more divisions, so you can actually say it's like the 4th division. So they're amateurs.
And Matt, you've got another question?
Yeah. So, what positions do you think in the current team do you think we need to strengthen on? Do you have any ideas of who you think we could?
I mean, I've never been a big fan of playing 3 up front. I'm a big fan of playing 2 players up front. So Giroud, he needs some help. Even if he's a good goal scorer and we have really good wings, I prefer the 4-4-2 actually in my book. But if we can strengthen one place, it should be another striker, really good striker who you can rely on every weekend to score like Ian Wright. A player like Ian Wright for Arsenal nowadays would be the business, really.
Oh, yeah, it'd be £100 million or more, should you imagine?
True. But I mean, we're not the poor club, are we?
No, I agree.
So, and he should know that, you know. Wenger should know that, but he believes in his players. He believes in the system, and that's what we have to accept.
And being on the management side of the scale, Are you, and this is something we have to ask every guest, are you Wenger in or Wenger out?
I can say like this. I'm a Wenger in, but we need to replace him for the next season.
So do you think that because he didn't buy what he needed in the summer, and nobody's saying that he didn't buy amazing players. I mean, Alexis Sanchez is just, I think, beyond all of our wildest dreams. Do you think the business that he did in the summer just simply wasn't good enough?
It's not for me to say that they're good, or I mean, I think to play for Arsenal, all the players are good at that level. So I can't sit here and take the piss for anybody. I mean, they are good, but the thing is, we probably need something else at Arsenal. You know, he's been there like 19, 20 years. We probably need another front guy to play another system. Probably, I'm not the man to say, but we should actually try to bring in another manager so we can change around something, because we haven't won the league for many years.
And that was pretty much my questions. So what I'm going to do now is, we've got a Twitter and a Facebook, and we've been inundated with questions for you. So I'll hand over to Danny, who has the best of them.
Before we go to that bit, your season starts on the 11th of April this year, and your first game is away at Gevardensveden.
Good pronouncement.
Oh, thank you. How do you think you're going to go this season? Because I'm interested in. I've been the Swedish team. I like to follow a different team in every country. I can never say this team. The first team you played for, Brompemtjark. How do you say it?
Brommapojkarna.
That's it. That's my Swedish team, because that's the first team you played for. So how do you think your team, the Sollentuna, how do you think you're going to get on this season?
Yeah, we had a really good silly season. We have bought awesome players on this level. So we will definitely be up front. Probably win the league or come second.
Because you come third last season, didn't you?
We come third, I think, last season, and we are so close to get promoted to the championship, and we have bought all the right players for all the right places this year. So we're probably the strongest team, but you have to play the games, obviously. But we're really strong this year.
Because last season, the last game of the season, you won 8-1, and that's a great way to finish the season.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and they were like fifth at that time. So and we are really strong up front. But the thing is, why we didn't win, that we lost against the team who won away, and then we drew away and lost at home, and that's 4 points, and then we lost with 4 points. So I mean, you have to beat those teams, you know. We're a good side this year.
Well, we'll keep an eye on your team, and then we'll let the listeners know how you're getting on during the season. And maybe you can come back on and give us an update when you're partway through the season.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay, right. We were saying before the podcast, we have one of our favourite people is a bloke in Sweden called Fredrik Darnell. And he's actually changed his name to the Swedish Freddy on Twitter. He says, which Swedish player who never played for Arsenal would have been the biggest success? And he's put Henke ? Or Thomas Brolin ?
In my opinion, Henrik Larsson is a little bit better than Thomas. Making other players better, you know. He would have been awesome for Arsenal at the time.
Excellent. Leo Branks says, without injuries, do you think we can win the league with the squad we have right now or next season?
Definitely this year. I mean, we're how many points are we drift? 12?
Too many. Lots.
Yeah, 12, 13 points. I mean, if we beat City away, we can have a run for another 16 games, you know, to be unbeaten. So you have to play about it. And then, I mean, I think it's City, Chelsea the next game, and we can definitely win this year. Definitely. I mean, it's not over.
Okay, someone who shares your name, Anders Berenhall, says, just how important was Brian Marwood, who's another player I met when he was playing for Barnet and he was rubbish, how important was Brian Marwood for you in adapting to English football when you were at Arsenal, and did George Graham ever put pressure on you not to play for Sweden because he seemed to get angry every time you played for Sweden?
Yeah, if I ask the second question first, he was never happy. for me to play for my country. He was never ever happy with that. So he always asked me, "Do you have to go? Do you have to go? Do you have to go?" Because if you remember, we had the European Championship '92 in Sweden.
Yeah.
We were already qualified, and for our manager in the national side, he was obviously he needed to play side together, if you can say. So what can you say? The games I played for Sweden now those days was only training games for him. So he told me, "Why do you have to go?" And I told him I have to go because it's the national side. So he was never ever happy with that, and then wasn't much I could do. I had to go to play for Sweden. And Brian Marwood, he was such a wonderful guy. He knew that he was going to be sold, and I was the guy who was going to take his place. But he helped me so much. Do this, don't do that. If you play on the wing, think of this, and he helped me so much. It's unbelievable. He's such a gentleman.
Okay, right. Next question is from Atif Fazal. Who would win in a match between the Invincibles of 2003-04 and the 1990-91 League Cup league winning side that you were part of?
Yeah, we probably win 4-2 because we are much more powerful than they are. I think they don't have as good defense as we had, and we were probably better up front. So probably I would say 4-2, Josh.
Raj, I hear you having a little giggle there. Have you got anything to add to that?
No,
Yeah.
it was just something that we mentioned earlier on. As a kind of foreign player coming into the English league, how aware were you of the North London rivalry between Arsenal and Tottenham? I'm sure you were, but was it kind of drummed into you very, very quickly when you joined the club?
No, I wasn't actually. I was stunned. Really, I was stunned about the physical game at that era. I was really, really stunned. It was really, really tough. And it was really ugly sometimes. With the tackles and sometimes. So I couldn't say that I was prepared for that hard play.
And what about the actual Arsenal-Tottenham games? I mean, did the other players in the squad, tell you how important that game was in the season?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, to speak with Paul Merson and especially Tony Adams about to play against the Spurs. I mean, he was like a thrusting bull, in the dressing room, and that was probably the games of the season for these guys, who've been brought up with Arsenal from early age. So they told me everything about that, and I thought to myself, it can't be much harder to play United away than Tottenham at home. And they said, yeah, it's twice as hard. And I didn't believe that until I played my first game against Spurs at Highbury. I think it was 0-0, but it was so the tackles was flying in that game, and then I knew what they told me.
Geoff, have you got a question for Anders?
Well, Andy, yeah, you played with David Roecastle.
Yeah.
Fantastic David Roecastle.
Oh, yeah.
What was he like around the training pitch? I mean, he was very, very skillful. I bet you admired him as well because you was a skillful guy. You was ball players. Tell me what he was like. Tell me what it was like to play with.
Yeah, bless David. He was a nice gentleman and helping everybody around him. But he was like me. He was too soft to be a football player in the Premier League around 90 to 94. He was too soft in his mentality. That's why he didn't play so much. Because I probably think that Graham thought he was too soft like me. And he could juggle with us whenever he liked. If he couldn't juggle with Tony Adams and Merce because they just stood up and told him off. They were strong characters, which David and I wasn't.
There's another one of the players that is one of every Arsenal fan's all-time favourite, Roecastle. Such an utter gent. I think back in those days, you and the likes of Roecastle didn't get enough protection from the referees, and nowadays you'd have been getting free kicks and penalties the whole time because you'd have been protected more. So it's a shame that players like you two didn't get the chance to show all the abilities you had without being kicked all over the park every game.
That's true. But I mean, we had a couple of cops in our team, like Steve Bold and Tony Adams, whatever.
Hillier.
Whenever they tackled us, I mean, oh dear, the next chance they got, they put the players up in the air. We had some good cops in our team. Don't you worry about that.
Okay, Michael Bullbeck says, why doesn't your wonder goal against Liverpool get the praise it does, yet David Beckham does it and he is a hero? And I was actually at that game when you scored, and I think we won 4-0 or 4-1 against Liverpool.
Say again, I didn't hear that question.
You know that goal that you scored against Liverpool where you scored from the halfway line? Michael Bullbeck says, how comes people don't go on about that as much as they go on about Beckham's goal when your goal was much better?
Because he's such a high-profile person in England, it's easy to talk about him. I think it's pretty much a nice goal, which I scored, and especially against a team like Liverpool at that time, who were really, really good. They were our rivals, the biggest rivals.
They were the Man United of their time.
Sorry?
They were the Man United of their time.
Exactly, yeah. So to beat Liverpool at home like 4-0, it shows how strong and powerful we were at that time. We beat them 3-0, we beat them away 2-0 and things like that. And to score a goals like that is one in a lifetime, for me. But not to sound big-headed, it was quite easy to shoot like that, It sounds really funny, but that's just a normal cross for me. But the finishing of that goal, it's amazing that it goes into the goal. But the actually skill-wise of it is not that hard, if you know what I'm saying.
Who was in goal that day? Was it Bruce Grobler?
No, Mike Hooper.
That was
Mike. Mike Hooper. After the game, did you have a little chat with him or not?
No, I didn't actually. Bless Mike, but no, I didn't. He probably wouldn't. He couldn't stare at me after that goal, I reckon.
Did Jan Molby say anything to you because you're both from Scandinavia?
Yeah, he was actually a man who was always taking the piss at the park. He was he had a big mouth, really. I like him.
And a big belly.
Yeah, but he was a hell of a player as well.
Oh, he was fantastic.
He was so mouthy, It was probably the player. He was probably a player who took the piss at the most at over the 4 years.
Well, friend of the podcast, Tim Hardwick, has just found the goal on YouTube, and he's tweeted it, so we've retweeted it to you and to all the listeners. But I'm not sure what's most impressive about that game, the fact that you scored from the halfway line, or that David Hillier actually scored a goal.
True. Actually, no, don't be rude. The actual result in itself is the big thing.
It's amazing.
To beat Liverpool 4-0 at that time, it's like you beating City 6-0. Nowadays it was unbelievable result for us.
Yeah, it is. It's because Dave Hillier always says that when he was playing in the reserves with Kevin Campbell, when Kevin Campbell got 50 goals one season, he said he set up half of the goals for him, and he never gets the credit for any of that like that, which is why we always like to mention it. And also, he had Paul Iderson playing at right back there. That's probably one of the few games he actually played for Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. He was one of the players who Graham didn't like. He played there for 2 seasons. He probably, what did he have, 4 or 5 games? And he was in the fridge, unfortunately.
Okay. Jake Riley says, one realistic player you would buy to improve the team the most in this summer transfer window, who would it be?
I will definitely buy Lewandowski, goal scorer who produces goals every weekend. That would be awesome for us to buy Lewandowski.
Okay.
From Bayern.
He's pretty good. He's I don't think he's the kind of player that's going to stay at Bayern forever because they're always wanting the best players. Exactly, but I think he would score loads of goals for us.
Oh yeah. Especially have wingers like this, and when Walcott is coming back, we have Özil coming back. You have Cazorla in his form of his life. I mean, we have something, Alexis, and you have Oxlade. We have such great players producing goals, and then if we have 2 proper goal scorers up front, they will take in the piss, really.
This next question, I don't understand why this is funny, but Marcus Franson says, ask Anders why he can't replace Kamark as Premier League pundit, and he's put in brackets, I think he will find that this is funny.
I didn't even understand what you said there.
There's a player who's a pundit called
Yeah.
Kamark. Is that Pontus Kamark?
Yeah, Pontus Comark.
He says, why can't you replace him as a Premier League pundit, commentator?
As working for TV? Or?
Yes.
Because I don't like it. I'm not. What can you say? I don't feel. What can you say? I'm not proper in the TV studio. What do you say?
Okay, in the studio.
You don't feel confident enough.
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly. I don't feel comfortable talking in TV. That's the whole thing. I'm not comfortable with the situation. That's why I'm not working TV. I can talk about football for 24 hours, but I'm not comfortable in front of a camera.
Okay, I don't know why he's put in brackets. He thinks you might find that funny. Maybe he thought you two don't get on.
No, he's a friend of mine. So.
Maybe that's why it's funny.
I don't. I can't
he's your
see
friend.
the funniest thing about it, but I'm not comfortable in front of the camera.
Well, I'm going to go and tweet him and ask him what a stupid question. Thank you.
Yeah. Say hello from me as well to Pontus.
Now this is from a bloke called Marcus Franson. So if you're listening, Marcus Franson, thanks for asking us such a stupid question. Yeah. Okay, Nicolas says, what was it like to play in the Euro '92 championships at home in Sweden?
Yeah, that's the whole life for me because I'm that's my hometown, Solna. To play in my home stadium in front of my friends, my family, it's you can't ask for more. To get the bronze medal in the European Championship in my hometown, at my home stadium I'm blessed. What can I say?
Do you have fond memories of that, or? Because I remember you playing in USA '94 when it was very hot. I remember you running around the pitch, being very, very hot, and having a hell of a and Stefan Schwartz and a few others.
The thing I have to say about the European Championship '92, I met Lee Dixon when we played England. I played against Lee, and that was an awkward situation, to play against my teammates, which I trained with week out and week in. That was a nice experience, and he was really, really tough. He was tougher to play in the natural side than he was in training, so to speak. So that was a nice experience. But to talk about '94, we had an awesome team. We won the bronze medal in the World Cup as well. We had similar to what Arsenal had 1994. We had from '92 to '94. We were really, really powerful. We had great players, and everybody who played at the Swedish team that time, they were actually center figure in their teams playing in the whole Europe. So we were really good together.
I'm just looking at that game in Euro '92 where you played England. You beat England 2-1.
Yeah.
With Eriksson and Thomas Brolin scoring the goals, and they took you off at half time.
Yeah.
And you played with Stefan Schwartz, and Jonas Thern was one of my favourite midfielders. I thought he was brilliant.
Me too. Yeah.
Oh, good.
He's my hero.
Was he?
Yeah, he's my hero because everything he did, I admire. He was the captain of everything. He was younger than us. When he said something in the dressing room, we stood up and listened. He was quiet, but when he said something, you actually listen. And he was first on the training pitch. He was the last off the training pitch, and he was he's my idol.
I remember when he was at Benfica, we were being linked with him. Arsenal were, but he never. Is he a teacher now? It says on Wikipedia he's a teacher.
Yeah, he's a teacher actually for a football academy back in his hometown. So you can say as he's a football teacher. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Okay, we've got a couple more questions. Chris Tunmore, which is we have a wrestler where we follow, is our podcast wrestler. He says, "What was your best goal for Arsenal?"
You can't take away that goal against Liverpool. That is my best goal. But I scored a few really good goals actually. Obviously, that goal in the Makita tournament is one of my personal favorite. To lash it with my outside of my left foot. It's really, really tough to do skill wise. So if you can talk about these two goals. It's really easy to score a goal like that against Liverpool, which is not that easy to score against Sampdoria in the Makita tournament. So that's really a really skillful thing to do.
Do you remember what was going through your mind with that Liverpool goal? Do you remember what you were thinking at the time?
Yeah, actually, when Kevin Campbell, he was in offside position, so I couldn't play him in, and then I just had to play the ball, and I looked up, I didn't have anybody to play, so I actually lashed it. I saw Mike was off his line, and it looks harder than it is. That goal looks harder than it is.
Okay, excellent. Last question is from Grant Hearn. Says, how hard was it adapting to English football and the famous Tuesday club drinking culture?
It was actually really, really hard for me to settle in, but I had great players helping me to settle in, telling me what to do and not to do. And the drinking culture, I mean, as you know, if you don't know, I never drink beer, and I still don't. I don't like beer. And to come into that drinking culture, it was like they could tell me, "Oh, you're not breathing." You know, it's like what can I say? I couldn't cope with it, so and that wasn't the thing for me to do.
That's pretty much all the questions that we have for you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us.
No problem. But whenever you like, just give me a shout over the Twitter, whatever. We do it again, no problem. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Anders.
God bless you, mate. Thank you
so much, Anders.
No problem. Take care. Bye-bye.
Anders Limpar, everybody. Wow, wasn't he good, gents?
Oh, man. I wanted to touch myself as he was speaking.
You probably did.
No, I didn't. I have more respect
At
for
least you didn't go and send naked photos to one of our celebrity guests this time.
Oh, fuck it. I knew there's something I meant to do. Bollocks.
I know.
He might have liked it.
One day you'll be sending those pictures without the sponge on it. Right then, we'll move on. And we've got our 2-0 win over Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium on Sunday. What a game. What a result. Would you like to talk us through it, Raj?
Not really, but...
Okay,
a little bit there, Jim, didn't you?
All I want to say is that was the best we've played, and I think in a couple of years, to be quite honest. I can't remember the last time we played that. Maybe the Barcelona game 2.5 years ago or something. It was just a pleasure to watch. Everything clicked. The discipline was fantastic. We kept our lines. We did falter a little bit in the beginning of the second half, but you know, you're playing City, the league champions. You are going to be put under some sort of pressure at some point. But we kind of fixed that, and I've got nothing to complain about for once, which is fantastic. The tactics worked. It was just brilliant. Geoff, what do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think it at last the players on the pitch have carried out exactly what the how we were supposed to play against these big teams away from home, because you could tell there was much more. I mean, and I spoke to someone just after it. I said, listen, what was the difference between that and the previous season when we went to Chelsea, when we went to Manchester City, conceded 6, and the Liverpool game, and and even the start of our season when we've conceded stupid goals. And what was said to me was that, this is the only time we've had blocks of 4 and 5 days where they could drill them and get them together as a unit. Whereas all the games before, the early season, we were playing 3 games a week. So it was a Saturday game or a Sunday game. Then 1 or 2 days to recover, and then another game on the Tuesday or the Wednesday. Then back again on the Saturday. They didn't really have a block of 3 or 4 days to really get this team. Plus with the injuries, that was the main problem. But I mean, you could tell, couldn't you? Santi was getting involved. He was tucking in, so they was nice and tight, and they was cutting out them angles to David Silva and Aguero. I mean, and it was such a relief and it was fantastic to see, because that's what we should be doing. All these away games in the Premier League are very, very difficult. It doesn't matter who you play, and obviously you're playing big teams like Chelsea and City, and the teams that are going to be around you, so to speak. I know they're above us, but they're the teams that we want to overcome. They're the places you have got to go and get a result if you're really going to compete. And it was such a breath of fresh air. It was great just to watch it and to see it. Like you said, Raj, we went back to our old ways for the first 10 or 15 minutes of that second half, but then they got together again, and we was really, really comfortable, which was surprising, really, because even though we was under a lot of pressure and we conceded a lot of the ball, I think we was really we was compact and tight, and we could have really won by maybe even more goals, couldn't we? If we broke away and got a few breaks, maybe.
I think the main thing is, Geoff, you said there about cutting off the supply to David Silva. As many people will know who have watched Man City when they've scored 3 or 4 goals against one of the lesser teams, David Silva really is the heartbeat of that team. Danny, how important was it to cut the supply to him? And how good a job did Coquelin do in, basically had him in his pocket all afternoon, didn't he?
Well, I have decided I'm not going to call him Coquelin. I'm not going to call him Lickcock or anything to do with a gentleman's relish. I'm going to call him Mad Frankie because he's a fucking mental case and he is brilliant and I love him and I want to have his children. But I'm just watching it back on Arsenal player and most of the time when they're attacking, we have the goalkeeper and 9 outfield players defending in a straight line. The back 4 were no longer the back flat W like they used to be for so many seasons and games. They were straight back 4 with 2 of the midfielders falling into that, and that meant, getting back to your point, that Aguero, if he got the ball, he had 2 or 3 players on him to try and take him on, and he was getting absolutely nothing at all. And I have been quite harsh on Monreal for his actions on that game, getting the penalty, his defending. He has now got a bye for the rest of his Arsenal career. I'm never going to say anything negative about him
quality.
again. He was absolutely brilliant. Go on, Matt.
He was quality that game, wasn't he? I've been a critic of Monreal. I think sometimes he's going forward, he's a good player. Defensively, he's nowhere near Gibbs, but I think playing at centre back has done him some good. It's made him a bit more stronger in the tackle. I don't know. He just seems to have some bit more about him now.
Wenger does like that with other players, doesn't he? He likes to play them out of position so then they know what to expect from the players playing in that position. I think that's a good point. I haven't thought about that before, that maybe playing centre-back has shown him what he has to do with it. Because I think before that he'd only played 2 games at centre-back. Who was your man of the match?
Mine?
Yeah, was it Cazorla?
Cazorla, yeah. He was unbelievable. He was genius, isn't he? He's a magician.
Or Twinkle Toes.
See, this is funny because I saw in the WhatsApp group shortly after the game that our favourite journalist on here, Neil Ashton, right, he only gave Santi Cazorla a 7 match
rubbish. What rubbish.
What, out of 7?
No. Well, yeah, you would have to argue that, but no, 7 out of 10 matches.
Was he Mr. Nick and a Living?
Oh, it must have been.
Was that the journalist who did the nicking? So he said he'll come on. So that's 2 things we've got to pick him up on now. God, the poor bloke. He's probably going to go into hiding.
I mean, I personally thought Santi was superb. Matt, what did you think of Santi's performance on the day?
I thought he was by far the best player. The way he can move the ball on 2 feet, he just relieves us from pressure. When he gets the ball in the midfield, we don't look like we're going to lose the ball when he's on the ball. It just looks like he's going to find someone. We're going to be able to break out. I thought Giroud had an awesome game as well. I thought he held the ball up well. I thought he holds the ball to him. Like he takes the ball in, he doesn't lose it. I thought he was strong. He was good in the air. Obviously, he got his header to score the goal. He had one near the start of the game as well. And I thought we just, as a team, we don't often see with Arsenal, us working as a team. We have the defenders and we have the attackers. We often get caught many times this season. We've been caught where we have 5-6 players up the field that we lose the ball and they've got all the space in midfield to break. But yesterday we had 2. We had the defender. The other day we had the defenders with the midfield, and then we also had Coquelin sat there protecting the Koscielny and Per, and it stopped the space in between the midfield and the defence. And I think that was mainly what we did correct. That made us win the game. It gave us the platform to go forward and counter and be able to get those goals.
I do think that Coquelin's inclusion just sat there in front of the back 4. I think they had that just the air of having a bit of an easy time of it in terms that he took a little bit of the workload away. 2 players I feel we must talk about are Bellerin and Coquelin. Raj, just how well did they do in this game?
They did brilliantly. Honestly, I've got nothing to criticise. I mean, it's amazing. Coquelin has only played 6 games for Charlton, didn't he? And he's come back in. I mean, my theory it's a crazy theory, but is that he's playing so he's realised he doesn't want to go back to Charlton, and so he's putting all out just to prove himself, and he is at the moment. I thought him along with Cazorla, they were the driving force for the team on Sunday. I mean, they both went. As City got more and more desperate trying to go forward, they left loads of space behind them, and Cazorla and Coquelin just drove us forward on the counter-attack. I thought it was fantastic to watch.
And I think another nice thing to see, which a lot of our fans have actually picked up on, we've been accused in the past of not having a leader on the field. Now, if you watch the game closely, you would have seen that Coquelin, after the first goal, he was going, look, just calm it down, fellas. We're 1-0 up at the Etihad Stadium. You know, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've still got, you know, a fair few, you know, a bit of time to go in this game. Let's just calm it down. And also, again, when they were defending a corner and Coquelin was back there and he was shouting his head off at the other players to just get in formation. I mean, after having so few games back in the team, to have that kind of voice in such a short time, it's refreshing, Geoff, isn't it? Do you think he can be a leader on the field for us?
Well, you know, he's done really well since he's come in, hasn't he? There's no doubt about it. What he gives us is discipline. I mean, the discipline is great. He doesn't really venture too far forward. He's not the most pleasing on the eye, is Coquelin. But what he does is he just sits in them holes and he sits in front of the back four, and you know, he can receive a pass and he can pass the ball quite well himself. So I mean, that's been the difference. And he's really done well for us. And you never know, you know, if he can carry on the way he's doing, he might be the answer for us for at least for the near future anyway.
And I think we should talk about Cazorla's jig before we go over to Danny and do Alexis watch. Did anybody see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I laughed. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was just great.
It was brilliant. I think just the way that and I think one of the things that struck me about this performance as well is in the past we've seen a lot of Arsenal players being individuals, but at the Etihad on Sunday we saw those individuals turn into a unit. And I think we've all said on this podcast at one point or another, we have a team that is capable of challenging for the league. When they are playing well and we have all the players back fit, we have a team that is capable of challenging. Danny, do you agree with that?
Oh, God, yes. I've been saying that for so long that I think even Theo Walcott will come out in the press recently, the last few days, and said, fully fit, we have got the best attacking team in the league, in the world, in the unknown universe. There's a amoeba on the third moon of Saturn that are disagreeing with that. Maybe. I don't know. I'm making it up as I go along. It's fucking amazing. Just imagine when Ozil comes back and there's not all the pressure on Ozil to make everything run.
How is Ozil going to come back, though? Seriously, sorry, Danny, but how is he going to come back?
We win 3 competitions. So that's what you do. You can say you can play one, you'll come on for the other one. I'll rest you for this one. I think we can do it, but yeah, I think your point is you can't take Santi and say, well, thank you very much for sticking with us and fucking playing your ass off. Ozil's like, no, we can't do that. You bring Ozil back on. You start Ozil against Brighton, and then give Santi a rest, and then the next game in the Premier League, then Santi plays. Maybe Ozil comes on for him, maybe after an hour and a bit, and then do it like that. You've got to do it the fair way because you can't go fucking players off. We don't have. There's no, like the old saying, there's no players here bigger than the club. Wage-wise, there is.
Where does Wilshere fit into that as well? Because he's on the road to recovery.
I don't know where he comes into the team.
I don't want him in the team. I don't like...
he doesn't get into our first team.
No, not for me. As much as I love him and he is the current Mr. Arsenal, I don't want him anywhere near the team. I don't think his attitude as in... I'm Pele. Just because you wear number 10, Jack, you lovely little man, you are not Pele, sir. You are more of a central midfielder. You shouldn't even get... He gets more forward than any other player. Ramsey is a better forward player than him. Unless he's going to sit in the middle of that midfield and play and keep the ball and do his job without wanting to punch someone every time he gets tackled. No, he hasn't got a place in the team.
No, definitely
not.
That's
very sad. It's very sad, though, isn't it? It's kind of...
It is.
His star's fallen a little bit over the last couple of years. I know it's a lot of injuries in that time, but
I think he's got more than enough about him to come back, don't you, Raj? To maybe adapt his game.
I do, but it has to be sooner rather than later because at the moment the other lads are just going, they're kind of light years ahead at the moment. So
I think in the current team that played against Man City, the only player that Wilshere could have played instead of was Ramsey, and that's only because Ramsey's only just come back.
But Ramsey had a good game as well, if you look at it.
They all had a good game, I mean...
He kept on trying, Ramsey. Not the best game he's ever had, but one of his first games back, and he just never gave up, did he? Did you want me to do Sanchez watch and maybe a Santi watch?
I can do. I was going to say, but
go
I mean, we're all talking about how sad it is that, maybe Jack Wilshere doesn't have a place in the team. But isn't this what we all wanted, the strength in depth? I mean, how many teams can boast a Jack Wilshere on the bench? I mean, that technical quality. How many teams can say, oh, yeah, we bought Mesut Ozil for 40-odd million, stuck him on the bench? didn't get in the team.
Jack would make it into maybe 18 of the 20 Premier League teams as a regular starter.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's good to see that finally we're going in the direction where we can have the players, the players coming on that can replicate the players coming off the pitch.
It's competition for places. That's what we need in this squad, and that's what's slowly happening now, which is very, very positive.
Exactly.
We want people fighting for places. We've got that situation with the goalkeeper, Ospina, who's now played 3 games and had 3 clean sheets. Hasn't had much to do, but it doesn't really matter.
I think Matt wanted to say something about.
You know what? It's refreshing. It's refreshing. It's refreshing that at least you boys recognise that we've got a decent team for a change.
Oh, here we go. Geoff did say when you were first.
1 week you're all slagging them off, right? And now all of a sudden we beat Man City, and you think we're going to win the league.
I didn't say that.
Keep your feet on the ground to start with. This is the same group of players that we've had all season, right? We haven't bought anyone else, right? It's the same group of players. Have a little bit of belief in them. When we get all our players back from injury, which we've been saying for ages, we're a proper team.
But Geoff, a large part of that comes from the tactics that Wenger put in place, which we've seen from before. He doesn't go up to Man City and play the open game. He goes there to attack them, and we get caught time after time. He went there to play a patient style of play, and it paid off. Fair play to him. You can't argue. The tactics were absolutely spot on. But in the past, he has messed it up. You can't argue that.
Tactics have been no different. Absolutely no different whatsoever.
No, I disagree. The tactics for Man City game were complete. He set up the team.
No. It's not the tactics. It's the players on the pitch being able to carry out exactly what he wanted to do. The 2 fullbacks, they was disciplined. It's all about discipline. If you sit in there,
I think that's an easy answer for a Wenger in. It's an easy answer.
So you think he's just all of a sudden found a way to sit back and we've played this game many times in previous seasons. These types of I remember the cup final at Manchester United against Man United. We just sat in there for the whole game. It's not new for Wenger to do that. It's about the personnel. The personnel that we've had at that time we've been playing them games. We've had Monreal that's come in against Liverpool that time and he was struggling. It's all about the personnel. They've got to do what they're told on the pitch rather than just get too involved in the match and think about how we normally play attack. You go to these away teams, especially the better quality teams. If you get caught up pitch, they are going to hurt you, right? And the difference is this time that they was very, very disciplined and they carried it out how they should carry it out. And the first things first is to go out there and not get beat. And when we're on the break, we can hurt any team and we'll always score goals. And that's the difference. The tactics are not different at all, trust me.
Is there anybody that wanted to come in on that?
I do.
Geoff, if you're right, and we're all speculating, but if you are right, then surely the players have now learnt to listen to the manager, and that over the next maybe 4 to 6 games, they would have bottled up what they learnt on Sunday and carry it forward. So if you're right, that's what's going to happen, isn't it? Surely.
Practice makes perfect, and they've been practicing a lot. For it, like I said, the blocks of 3 and 4 days that they've had together, where they could drill. Okay, like in the old days when George used to have them, with that bit of string, the back 4, and the defenders not too far away from the midfield players once we're defending. Because as soon as there's gaps appear and you get caught up pitch, that's when we struggle. When you're playing 3 against 4 at the back and stuff like that, because good teams are going to hurt you. But if we're compact, we can all tackle. You can see there was 16 corners. We was different class from it, all the crosses that they had, we kept on knocking them away. It's because we was organised and everyone knew what they were supposed to do. It's all about discipline.
Before we go on to, I know Matt has got a question. I want to make a point about Ospina. If people go and listen back to the Steve Spald Collective in late 2012 when Geoff made his debut on there, first thing he said, "Mark my words, boys, 2015, that's our year." Sounds like you're in the room, Geoff, doesn't it?
I remember.
He bloody did.
Saying that.
If people think it's a big enough loving when Geoff is on normal time, just think how unbearable he's going to be if we go undefeated for the whole of 2015.
I don't care. I hope he's right.
I've never
said that we don't. I want the team to be unsuccessful or anything. I want them to win everything in sight. I sometimes doubt Geoff's viewpoints, but that's fair enough. But if
But
he's
so
right,
far,
if he's
unbeaten.
right, I'll be the first one to shake his hand. I'll be the first one to shake everyone's hand because I want them to win everything.
Jeff knows. Hey, Jeff. Oh, no. The haters are going to hate that.
I don't think I do. But we're a better team than people give us credit for. Trust me.
Matt, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to make the point about Ospina? We weren't sure if
Yeah,
your microphone's working.
Do you think that Ospina should keep his place in the team? I know he's had some, I think
yes.
it's 3 clean sheets now, but obviously he hasn't actually had that much to do. Against Man City, we really limited him to only a few shots and crosses, really. I don't feel in any of the games he's had much to do. When do you think Szczesny will come back, or do you think Szczesny should get his place back, or should Ospina just...
I think he should stay.
I thought I'd stick with Ospina.
I do like Ospina, but I do feel Szczesny is the better keeper. I do think he's prone to making some mistakes, but I think Szczesny's the way forward. I do think he should just keep his place now.
It'll be interesting to see who plays at the weekend with regards to whether it's Martinez or Szczesny.
He's making a point of him though. He's making a what is it? It's not a scapegoat. When you're really harsh on someone to prove a point to everybody else. What's that word called? Making an example.
Example.
Yeah, he's making an example of Szczesny, and I tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if Martinez starts against Brighton, because that will definitely knock Szczesny down a peg or two.
Well, that'd be quite shocking actually if that happened.
It would.
We don't want to be careful not to completely ruin his confidence, though.
A man with that confidence.
Arsene Wenger's not that type of person to do that kind of thing.
He's not vindictive, definitely.
No, I don't think he's that.
Did any of you see Szczesny's face while he was sat on the bench? Oh my God, he had a face like a bulldog licking piss off a thistle.
Did he have a face like Raj's Giroud Lama?
Yeah, like a bulldog chewing a wasp. He was. But Danny, let's go over to you for a Alexis watch.
Oh, I'm looking. If people don't know, Raj in his Skype picture has got a picture of a llama with haircut like Giroud. It's the Giroud Lama.
It looks increasingly like Purr every more and more I look at him.
Before we go to that, I was going to say, the reason why we did so well is it's nice to see Koscielny and Per Mertesacker again together playing, because they just know where each other are. It's just a delight to watch those two defend.
That was another factor, by the way, as well.
Go on.
That was another factor that they both, they obviously got used to each other playing together again.
And Cos was limping towards about the hour mark, wasn't he? Which made me a little bit worried. But Dom said he's going to be carrying that injury all season, and he'll sort it out in the summer, because they'll actually have the summer off. Right, I shall stop going on and do as I'm told. Should we do 2 watches here? Gim, should we do a Sanchez and Santi?
I think Santi deserves one. His debut Santi watch.
Oh, the listeners are quaking. Right, the player stats for Mr. Alexis Sanchez. Pass accuracy 74%. 100% aerials won, 69 touches. He did 2 fouls. He never does fouls. 3 shots, 6 dribbles won, 2 tackles, and a rating of 7.7. Boo! Sell him. and then Cazorla, pass accuracy 92%. Shazam. Aerials 1. No, it didn't do any, obviously, because when you're 4'2", I mean, no offence, Gim, but there's no point, is there?
No, I don't even, I don't even try and get stuff from the top shelf of the freezer. No,
do you not?
Let the missus do it. Don't even bother. Won't even jump.
Have you tried piling the puppies up to stand on them? The big ones at the bottom and then the little ones at the top.
Yeah, but they keep moving.
You keep putting sound clips of them making their noises. Oh, it's brilliant.
I know. I put the sound clips in the group when I'm trying to record a normal message, and they're just like.
Even me as a dog lover, have fallen a little bit in love with your puppies.
I know. Look at my puppies.
Anyway, so 92% pass accuracy, 100 touches, no fouls because he doesn't foul, 1 shot on goal. And dribbles 1, 10, tackles 2, and a rating of 10. That's 1-0. That's 2 games in a row now. We have had a player get 10 out of 10. And then when we were doing the 4-hour live YouTube broadcast, I don't know if you haven't seen it, go to our YouTube channel. It's had 2,500 views already, which is absolutely amazing. And someone puts in the text window, Santi Cazorla, the quietest feet in football.
And that was a 10 rating, which was 3 more than you, Neil Ashton, you bitch.
Yeah. I think that may have well put the final nail in the coffin of him coming on.
Oh, he won't listen to that, will he? We should move on then, as this podcast is gathering pace fast. And we'll end it by talking about the Deadline Day podcast, and we'll be leading up to that with weekly transfer segments on here. So we'll start off tonight by talking about our latest signing, Christian Bielnik. I hope I pronounced that right. So, Danny, do you know about him, and what role do you think he'll play?
T-boy. Pokemon collector, something like that. People are moaning about us having bought a 17-year-old player. Real Madrid have just bought a 16-year-old player for £3 million and paying him 80 grand a week. You can be bloody damn sure he's not on that much at us. I think Chris had someone in Croatia, Bok to all Croatians if you're listening, including Matey Boy whose name I didn't get right.
What, ball bag?
No. I'm just seeing if Wikipedia have added it. Oh, here we go. Christian Bale, 17 years old. His birthday is the 4th of January, so he's only just gone 17. He's 6'2.5". At 17, that means he's going to be maybe 6'4" if he keeps growing, or get him on the stretching machine. He's only played 5 games for Legia Warsaw. He's played 2 games for Poland under 16. For Poland under 17, 5 games, 3 goals. We've paid roughly about £2.4 million for him, and he looks like one hell of a player. He is going to be a kind of dominant midfielder. It says here defensive midfielder, but he's going to be there, and he's going to go out and start kicking ass. So I personally am looking forward to it. But I'll need to go and tell you the name of the Croatian bloke who...
I can tell you.
Luka Kolakusic. Bok, Mr. Luka. And he actually told me how to say in Croatian something else. So you go and tap dance while I
He's got my shout out this week, so I have to attempt to say his name at some point later in the show.
Well, I also have to say Herman Hrvoje. He's my mate on I only follow one Croatian, and that's him. Oh, here he goes. He says Bok, and then he says SCHTA. How are you going to say that? Bok Stash Ima, which means what's up.
Oh,
there you go.
That's definitely interesting.
Who says we don't get cultural, eh?
A lot of people have said that Bielnik is like Vieira.
Yes.
But I have it on good authority that he's not a central defensive midfielder, which everybody is crying out for. And we all know from watching Vieira over the years, he was more of a box-to-box, and this is what Bielnik is being likened to, isn't it?
Well, if he's got 3 goals in 5 games for the under-17s, it's not too bad. Do you want me to go on to the bloke we've been linked to, or have you got something written down that I should just wait until you say it?
I've already done my homework on this one.
God blimey.
The next player that we've seen being linked to this week, and we've all seen it banded around in Twitter and in the newspaper, so we want to find out quite simply who is he. I can tell you he's 24 years old. His name is Gabriel Paulista.
It's not.
And I know that because the Siri thing on my thing, he said his name back. I didn't know if it was I didn't know if it was Gabriel or Gabriel.
It's not. That's not the thing. His name isn't Paulista at all.
What's his name?
Well, you know, back in the day there was Juninho at Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Juninho Paulista. Now you would think, hold on, are they related? No, it's not. When you have a name same as somebody else in Brazil, they give you the name of your state as your surname. That's what they take up. So his name is Gabriel Armando de Abreu. That's his name. But because he's Gabriel from the Paulista state, he's called Gabriel Paulista. Like Juninho Paulista.
Sao Paulo, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Well done, Geoff. That's the way my team Corinthians played. Then there was another Juninho, the one who played for Lyon. He was called Juninho Pernambucanu. Oh, fuck that up. Sorry, anyone who speaks Portuguese. So he was from that area. So every now and then you get a player who was like junior.
I'm trying to think where the beast come from then.
The
beast. No, I'm only kidding. Go on, carry on.
I think they actually adopt a similar policy in Wales. That way, it's Jason Davis.
Oh, it is actually, because Raj, what do you call Mr. Gimli?
Ginger Goblin.
No, the Merthyr something.
Oh, Merthyr Munchkin.
That's it. So it does apply in Wales. So people, his name is, don't just put Paulista, because Paulista, it's a little bit like me being a player and you calling me Danny Cambridgeshire, because I'm in Cambridgeshire, and then just calling me Cambridgeshire. It means nothing.
I'm going to call you Reverend Rotisserie Chicken. I think that's what your new nickname's going to be. But anyway,
I can be East End Geoff, can't I?
But I can tell you about Gabriel Paulista, or whatever you want to call him. He's 24 years old. He plays for Villarreal as a centre-back. He's Brazilian, but currently has no caps. He's 6'2" and has played...
I thought you said cats.
No, no, no. Just no.
If you want some puppies, I know someone.
He has no caps. Right? He's 6'2" and has played 37 games for Villarreal, scoring no goals. So, Danny, is there anything else you can tell us about him? Because it seems like you've got it mostly covered.
Well, only because plenty of people on Twitter, and I've been picking stuff up, but I am a fan of Brazilian football. Come on, Corinthians. So their season's about to restart. But yeah, but he's played half of last season for Villarreal and half of this season. And normally, if you're a decent player, you're going to have some kind of cappage, because he played for Vitória in Brazil, and he played 4 seasons there. And he played the State League, and he played in the Serie A, which is their normal league. And then so he's played all those games, not a single, and I've had a look at the Brazilian Wikipedia, not a single cap at any level for Brazil. So normally the rule is you have to have played 75% of all international games for the last 2 years. I mean, at the age of 24, or 24 and a bit, you'd think you'd have some. So if you haven't played 75%, then like the young Croatian who's just signed for Leicester, he'd only played 4 games for Croatia, but they managed to get him a special talent visa or whatever, or exemption. So that's what we're going to try and do. But Greg Dyke, head of the FA, is trying to knock this out, and by making it that you've got to have played even more games or even less something. So
less games.
Yeah, they're going to
35%.
I did read it was going from 75 to 35. Yeah, so they're trying to get around it, but that's not going to come in until May. This is all stuff that I don't know. This is what I've read, so I don't think I'm some kind of oracle.
Arsenal
or
are appealing. Arsenal are appealing on that situation with regards to the visa and that, because obviously Brazil is a much more difficult team to get into than Croatia and other teams like I think West Brom have got a chap that they signed pre-season for I think he's Jamaican or one of those teams. I'm not quite sure, but I think he only had about 3 or 4 caps, which obviously doesn't.
Rio, didn't we?
Yeah, he does. It definitely doesn't represent the 75%, but. Yeah, you know what? We should be getting that one over the line, hopefully.
And he also covers it right back, which is interesting.
He's a bit raw. I've only seen bits and pieces of him. He's a little bit raw, but he's very fast. Yeah, he's a big lad. He's very very fast and aggressive. So and he's in that Villarreal team at the minute. I think they went unbeaten for about 15. Yeah, so
15 games unbeaten.
Yeah, and they're 5th or 6th in the.
Only conceded 17 goals all season.
Yeah, 6th in La Liga. So I think that that's another thing that they're going to the special whatever they call it, that special dispensation to bring them in if they are good enough.
How much? Do you know how much that's for? Because I saw something that he had a buyout clause for 20 million, but I don't think we'll pay that.
Yeah, his buyout clause is 20 million euros, which basically equates to about 15 million pounds. Do we think that that's a bit expensive, Matt? You seem to know about him.
No, I just obviously they asked him about him, didn't they? In the I think it's the pre-match press conference for the Brighton game, and he I think they said something about. He wanted to try and get him a bit cheaper than that, I think.
I read that Jeremy Wilson did a bit in the paper saying that. Did you finish speaking there, Matt? Or
I just thought I thought that was probably a bit expensive. I think Wenger would probably find that a bit expensive.
Because your microphone went a bit crackly, and I thought, oh God, here I have. I've overtalked someone. That's fucking
No. Go for it, Danny.
Cheers. Jeremy Wilson did a bit saying that they're trying to break it down into 6 million up front, another 4 million after a certain amount, and another X million after that. At the moment, Gimli, 20 million euros is about 18 million quid. Because it's 1.2 euros to the pound, I think. Raj should know because he's swimming in filthy lucre, aren't you, Raj?
Yeah, it's about 17.5, 18 million euros.
Yeah. I think they want to pay. I think they want to pay about £12 million right up at the top.
Who would you compare him to? I've not seen him play that I can remember. Would you compare him to any previous Arsenal players, Geoff?
No, he's. You know what? To be honest with you, remember when Koscielny came in? He was a little bit raw.
Yeah.
Had plenty of pace, a little bit raw. What I've seen of him, he dives in a little bit.
Yeah.
He tries to nick the ball in front of players, which is dangerous when you're playing obviously at the back. But he's very similar to Koscielny with regards to he really has got a lot of pace, so great recovery. and he's aggressive, really, really aggressive.
So he's more of the Koscielny, the Gallas, the Campbell, as in getting forward.
Yeah, but he might need a little bit. He might need a little bit of settling in, to be honest with you, because he does look very, very raw.
Well, if he can cover at right back, that's very good. It's just read on Wikipedia. He played a couple of games back in Brazil at right back in the Brazilian Cup, I think it said.
I'm not sure about his distribution. I don't think he's the best player on the ball, but that might come. That might come.
Do you think this is just cover, or do you think this is like what he sees as a future player, like proper player for us?
Do you know what I think? What I think is he would prefer to purchase someone that can go straight in and last us for 8 or 10 years. I don't think he'd mind giving £30 million for a ready-made centre half, but they're just not out there at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Do you not think we could get? I thought we could maybe get someone in on loan in January and get someone properly in the summer, because I don't want to get any more of these players that just sit on the bench. Well, we need squad players, obviously, but
I feel that we need having a great time in Italy, is he?
We need first team players.
Michael Richards
he's not really keen on loan players, to be honest with you. I don't think he's that keen, and I think Gabriel is one of those players you could bring in, and if he's not too expensive, it's a punt, but he's got a lot of promise there. So hopefully we can get it over the line, and he can at least give us the cover that we needed if one of the two centre halves are out.
You got any more info on him, Mr. Gimli?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I think we've gone through the work permit complications, the price, his age, where he plays for, why he's called what he's called.
Do you have his favourite ice cream down there?
Yeah,
it's Brazilian nuts.
No, it's mint choc chip by Gino Ginelli.
Beautiful human being. That's my favourite.
Yeah, that's right. Anything you wanted to add to this, Raj? Because it's quoted that he's going to be about 18 million quid, and you said we've only got 20 to 30 to spend. So, do you think it might be Gabriel and done?
I've just checked the rates. It's actually 15 million for 20 million euros. The euro's pretty weak at the moment. But with all these players, I mean, for me personally, I don't know a lot of these players that come into the club, so I don't really judge them on their age or judge them on the value that we've paid them. I'll just rather wait 8 or 9 games and watch them play, and then start talking about them. But if we sign them, then good luck to the players. But Matt's quite right. I mean, we shouldn't really be buying stopgap players. I don't really believe in that, because we might need them for a couple of months, and then what we're going to do? They're rot in the reserves for the next 2 years. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if Arsene Wenger takes a punt on Coquelin and thinks that he might get away with just him looking after us in the midfield for the rest of the season.
For now, though, but for the long term, I think it's another good player, but I think we need some. I think in defence and in the defensive midfield is still an area that we need some proper first team players coming in, not just cover.
Well, Paulista will probably be the first team player, but the young
instead of Per.
Well, we need more than one. We need more than two decent centre backs.
But I mean, do you not feel that we need someone who's to come in as a first team, like maybe to take Mertesacker's place?
No, I think that we should have 3 or 4 first team centre backs, and they should be on the rotation for the rest of the season. So he should be on an equal standing with Per Mertesacker. Yeah.
I've just checked the bloody euro. It's 1.32 to the pound. When did that happen? It's 1.2 last I looked.
Just checked. It's amazing. It's 15 million that's worth.
My pension's fucked.
But anyway, to carry on with transfers, we've seen Arsene Wenger do something this week that we don't see very often, if we've ever seen it at all. But when normally quizzed on players, he normally, just brushes it aside. But this week he was quizzed on Winston Reid, and he did say that it was actually a player he was linked to. Geoff, can you give us any insight on why he would say that we are now interested in these players when previously he'd have brushed it aside? Has anything changed in the way he negotiates transfers or goes about talking about them?
No, I don't think so. I think he's always been. Generally, he's been honest. There has been times in the past, like I think when he said he didn't know Santi Cazorla. That was at the time because we were so close to it, and he didn't want anyone coming in and nicking him. But with Gabriel, I think they're so far down the line with that particular deal that I think it would be unlikely that someone else could come in and steal him. But no, I don't think so. I think, to be honest with you, Arsene, he answers questions and he'll answer them as honestly as he possibly can without giving too much away. I don't think anything's changed. I think he'll tell you. I mean, I didn't see the interview with regards to Winston Reid. Whether or not they're in for him, I don't know. I'm not. I'll be disappointed because I don't think he's good enough, Winston Reid, and I don't think he's. I don't think Arsene would think he's good enough either. I don't. He's definitely not good enough on the ball.
No. We'll conclude the transfer section there then, and we'll be doing another one every week until our deadline day special, which I can tell you one of the guests as a sneaky treat, which I put on the podcast account this week, is we will be joined at 12 p.m. to kick us off with none other than Jan Argefjortot, someone that's been on this show before, was a very, very popular guest and really knows his football, doesn't he, Danny?
Norwegian legend. I'm just reading a little bit in the Independent. Abu Dhabi, Arsene Wenger hints midfielder will not be offered a new contract in the summer. He's one of my favourite players on FIFA. Let it go, let it go.
It's time to let go. Yeah.
We've hit a new low with Danny singing.
Oi, don't hate on me, bitch.
So on that very poor and out of tone note, we'll go straight to predictions. And Geoff, we'll start off with you this week. So let's have your predictions for Brighton away.
I think we will be comfortable at Brighton. We'll win 3-1. I don't know who's going to play, so I'd say Giroud's going to score the first goal.
Oh, I'm going to go next. I have written down here 3-0 Giroud. Danny?
Well, Brighton had a hell of a result last night. They beat top of the league Ipswich Town 3-2, which is there goes that little prick on his fucking motorbike. Fuck off! Fucking three of the little pricks.
I have that does it with a dirt bike down here. I'm in the process of
does it with up your what?
Air rifle.
He does it on your what?
A dirt bike.
Oh, dirt bike.
Not dirt box.
Hey!
Oh, you're filth.
Actually,
Jeez.
Matt will know this. There's a nightclub in St Ives that everyone refers to as the Dirt Box. Going up Dirt Box. So my point is, Brighton are on a bit of a roll at the moment because they were doing shit. They got Chrissy Houghton in, and I'm just looking at their results. They have now won 4 out of the last 5 games. That's a hell of a run. So I think they're going to be. Actually, they might not want to concentrate on the FA Cup, concentrate on the league because they were in the bottom. I think we're going to go there and we're going to beat them 4-1. First goal scorer is going to be... Who's going to play out front? Akpom.
Okay.
I've given up with this, haven't I?
You really have just given up the ghost. We'll go to Matt next. So, your prediction and scorer?
I think it'll be 2-0, and I think Theo will come back in team and get the first goal.
Oh, fuck, that's a good shout. You evil shit.
Right.
I need the points, so I've got to go mental, don't I, really? So, 4-0.
I just said 4-0.
Messer's going to score, I think.
Messi?
Messi ain't playing for us, is he?
Ozil.
Little Messer.
Yeah, little Messer, yeah.
He's going to score. We'll carry on then. Shout outs, and Raj, you first.
Yeah, it was a bit embarrassing actually, but there's a fit bird on Twitter, and I thought I'd give her a shout out because I might get a number, basically. So it's at Indie Chris.
Oh, she's a beaut.
She's a beaut. Absolute beauty.
Have you seen that in the press? They had a picture of a nip slip.
Yeah, I saw that. But she needs a bit of electrolysis on her chin. But yeah, that's my shout out for today.
I've also been told that Indie Chris, on request,
yes,
she does do topless pictures, and she is one fine looking woman.
If you like hairy nipples, that's the one to go for.
If you like that little line of hair that protrudes from the belly button,
crab ladder. Yeah,
and tattoos.
And a penchant for playing FIFA at 4 o'clock in the morning and screaming every time you get fouled.
Yeah, Danny, have you Indie Chris again? I presume.
Oh well, it would no. Who would it be? I think. Oh no, I can't do that one, can I? Because you're going to do it. Actually, it's going to go to at dberry1974. If you need a website building, go and see him because we haven't given him enough credit for all the wonderful work he did for 5 minutes sorting ours out, and we might need him to do us a favour. And he was the one who put a screen grab saying that now we've signed Bielik, we're going to send a Mad Frankie back to Charlton, and that he's not happy about it. So he did it, edited it, and tweeted it, and everyone was going mental. How the fucking hell can this go on? So Swaney and old Mad Mark Mark King, and they're all having a bit of a giggle about it. Yeah, so anybody, if you need any internet sites building or anything like that, or if you've want to get your hand on some
Talking
socks.
about Darren, he's got a new Twitter page and a website, isn't he? And I can't think what it is now, but it's to do with the football pubs, the match day pubs. I think
Is that
it
him
is.
that runs that?
Yeah,
Oh.
at Match Day Pubs, which is really it's a good little site as it happens, because it gives you all the information on the away day pubs if you're travelling away. So you should all have a little look at that and give him a bit of support, the lad, because he's done really well. He's a lovely fella as well, Darren.
And he's
Is that your shout out, Geoff?
No, mate, no. No,
You
want
go
mine?
for it then.
Yeah, okay. It'd only be fitting to give a shout out to Tim Hardwick, who is a friend of the pod
Barcelona.
and a big fan of Anders Limpar, and his Twitter name is @Barcelona.
And he's the one who tweeted the Anders Limpar goal. That we just retweeted that from the pod account.
He's a top man.
He's a funny fucker, and hasn't he got a brother?
He certainly has.
What's his brother's name? Give him a shout as well.
Steve, isn't it? Is it Steve?
I follow
Oh, you
both of
put
them.
Geoff on the spot.
I can't remember.
HARDWICK. See what we've come up with. There's two of them. Come
Got an
on.
E on the end.
Is it?
I think Hardwick's got an E on the end. I think so.
Sneaky fuckers.
Steve
Simon.
Hardwick. Simon, that's it.
Simon,
Sorry.
which is at Highbury. God, I'm my fucking
Simon.
thing now. I'm going to have to go and click on it. It is Highbury 27. So that's Simon Hardwick and Tim Hardwick. They're both a pair of wrong-uns. Avoid them.
Lovely stuff. Matt?
Yeah, well, I didn't really know who to do, so I'm going to do a shout out to the person who contacted Gimli to get me on this show. That's my girlfriend, and she's Danielle Carter at Danny Louise XOX. So yeah, because she sorted this for me, so I wouldn't have been able to be on this without her.
She's been very sneaky with the emails.
Did you say Danny Louise?
Well, it's Danny with an I in it. No.
Didn't she live in Bromley?
Yeah. Oh, you know her, do you?
No, I'm only joking. You meant
I'm joking.
Yeah, she was round his house last night
I know.
for a rotisserie chicken.
Because Raj's chicken brings all the girls to his pub. Why did that song go? My milkshake brings all the...
His rotisserie chicken brings all the girls to his pad, I think.
Can we stop about rotisserie? $69.99 Amazon, by the way. But there you go.
I sense he's getting embarrassed.
No.
Then. My shout out for tonight is I'm going to murder your name, I know, and we're going to have to give you a shout out again next week. But it's Luka Kolakusic, and he is on Twitter at Dream DREAM _SHAKE, and we've promised him a shout out, so there it is as promised. And pretty much that is it.
More than enough.
For this evening.
Can I sing at the end again?
No, please God, no.
About snowmen.
No.
How about haters gonna hate.
No.
Potatoes gonna potato.
Oh, Jesus.
Potato haters are gonna hate potatoes.
Christ. So that was a Bergkamp Wonderland podcast. I can only wait for Danny's singing. Thank you so much for listening, and keep it Arsenal. Good night.
Nano, cheeky monkeys. Oh, fuck, I got it in and you didn't interrupt me. Good. Go on, Matt, say something witty before we go.
Well, that's 2 hours I'll never get fucking back. What a load of shit.
Yeah.
At the end of the podcast, Matt says, "Oh, that's 2 hours of my life I'll never get back. What a load of shit." Well, just to stitch him up, this is how the end of the podcast really finished before I'd started editing it. Ah, poor old Matt, done up like a kipper. Go on, Matt, say something witty before we go.
Oh,
I'll edit the gap out, don't worry.
you put me on the spot now. I can't think of anything.
I'll edit it.
I dare you to say, well, that's 2 hours I'll never get back. I fucking dare you to say it.
Okay. Well, that's 2 hours I'll never get fucking back. What a load of shit.
Yeah.
I will edit that, Matt. Don't worry, I'll edit
guys.
that, and then it will look like you've done that straight off of the cuff. It'd be better if you'd have put "you cunts" at the end of it as well.
No,
Should I do it again?
leave that C word out.
Oh no, Jeff's here. Sorry, Jeff.
Leave the C word
Yeah,
out.
don't need that.